Hey, this is a vlog. I might post it, I might not. If I post it, it'll probably be on TikTok because less family members follow me there. Well, I mean, the family members that follow me there are chill. They're not gonna, I don't know. I don't know what I'm trying to say, but if you know, you know. Not trying to offend nobody. I'm struggling a little bit with my mindset. I'm happy during the day, and then when I come home recently, I've not been as happy. And I am extremely happy and grateful every time I step foot in this place because it is my first ever place. But I think that I've become a little too obsessed with keeping it. Yeah. My brain's working against me a little bit, and therapy was helping with that. Not to mention the fact that I strongly believe that I may have ADHD or ADD. I believe it might. I don't know which one, but I'm not a hyperactive person, so that's why I'm thinking ADD. But I also know that I have anxiety because of my therapy sessions. The point that I'm making is that recently I've been coming home and not really being able to do all the things I want to do because I either can't get myself to do them or because by the time I actually get around to covering my basic life necessities, I don't have time anymore at the end of the day because I have to go to work again. Or I'm tired and I'm ready to go to sleep. And then I'm like, well, dang, I didn't get to, really hang out with myself today and do the fun stuff because I spent so much time doing the basic life stuff that now I'm going to stay up till like 4 a.m. because my brain is all activated with all the cool things that I could do. And so now, like, I can't, Bruh, I might start a YouTube channel. I might put this on YouTube and can't nobody see it that know me. I don't know. I'll put it on TikTok. I might curse in these videos. That's a new development. It's not a new development. It's just a grown Madison development. Madison curses sometimes, okay? Not all the time, but sometimes. If you're my friend and you know me, you never heard me curse. I curse sometimes. I know the curse words. I was raised with somebody who unfortunately, used to curse. And so I know the curse words. And even if that person never cursed in their life, I still would end up learning the curse words. It's America. I don't use them often except for when necessary. So, you still will never probably ever hear me curse in real life. Because there's not that many reasons to curse in real life. Unless somebody makes you extremely angry. But, this is going to be long. If y'all don't feel like hearing it, y'all don't have to watch it. But lately, I have been struggling a little bit because of what I just said. And if I repeat myself, I'm sorry. But because of what I just said. And so, for example, I also been worrying a lot about money, and I don't need to. I literally just got reminded the other day through a sermon that I need to, if God got you somewhere and you didn't have to do anything to get there, then you have to rely on God to get you through it, right? God got you to a certain spot in life, you have to rely on Him to continue to help you maintain it, because God is not going to bring you somewhere and then just drop you off and you not be able to maintain the blessing that He gave you, because otherwise He wouldn't have gave it to you, right? So, with this apartment, for example, not everybody, but a lot of people thought I wasn't going to be able to afford this apartment. Not because they didn't, we don't want you to succeed or nothing, not on some shit like that. But really on the fact that they were just like, we don't want you spending all your money and struggling and being anxious all the time because you're broke. Understandable. I didn't want to be doing that either. But I got this apartment because I yo, I'm so anxious, and when it comes to important stuff, I come up with plan A, B, C, D, E, F, and G. Like, I planned this out for like so well that like no mess ups, like, and there still was mess ups at the end of it all because of my brain and because I always forget something. But when it came to moving to this apartment, it's my first ever big thing that I'm doing by myself. My first ever, is it my first ever big thing? I don't know. My first ever apartment and first time living by myself completely, making all the decisions on my own, truly being an adult at 23. I consider the 20s to be your baby years of being an adult, so I'm a 3-year-old adult, you guys. But yes, I moved here, and when I moved here, I calculated the numbers like over 20 times. I can tell you that. Because every time I would get anxious, I would recalculate the numbers. Every time I spent a single penny, I would recalculate the numbers to make sure I still had the money for this apartment. Managed to save it up somehow and pay for this apartment. And I'm here now, and I'm so grateful to God. But now, every time I buy something or spend money, I am now thinking in my head, like, girl, make sure you can pay the rent. Girl, make sure you can pay the rent. Even though I know I have the money to pay the rent. And it just sits in the back of my head. I'm like, girl, you already be, with the other apartment, excuse me, you already be broke after paying rent. So you're still going to be broke after paying rent. Because I love my job. My job is amazing. There's nothing wrong with my job except for the fact that it doesn't pay me enough to have extra money. You know? Like, it pays me enough to have, to where when I pay my rent, no matter where I live, unless I live somewhere that's extremely cheap with roommates, it's like $500 a month rent, that every time I pay my rent, I will always only have enough money for like groceries, and that's it. So I am trying to increase my income, because the issue is not that, the issue is not with my job, the issue is just the income issue and the amount of income. Because I'm working almost 40 hours a week. I'm working 38 hours a week. So it really is just like the number. And that's okay. But it has me stressed out, because I'm like, okay, well, I need to find a second job. Well, I found a second job, but the second job doesn't pay me enough either. And so it's like and I can only work one day on that job because of the way the schedule works. And the days that that job is open is not the same day, the days that I need it to be open. Like, so, and I still have to budget time for me to have a break. So, for example, I work Wednesday through Sunday. I work Wednesday at the second job, Thursday through Sunday at my first job. Okay? But the issue is I can only work one day at that second job, because Monday and Tuesday, I still have to have a life. I am a chronically ill person, and the number one symptom of that chronic illness is fatigue. So I have to not overwork myself, which means that Monday is my only day that I have to myself off. And then because I very much love my boyfriend, and I do not consider time with him to be time taken away from me. Like, time with my boyfriend is self-care for me. So I spend Tuesday with him because that's the only time we see each other in person. So literally it's like Tuesday, you know, technically Monday, Tuesday are the days for me, because I rest on Monday from working Thursday through Sunday, and then Tuesday I rest because, but my boyfriend being with him doesn't drain me, and I get to hang out with one of my favorite people, you know? So it's just a little stressful in the back of my head, because I'm like, well, gee, I'm working 38 hours plus Wednesday, so I'm working over 40 hours a week, but I'm still not making enough to have extra money outside of bare necessities. And so, as much as I love my job, I'm stressed out every day when I come home. So I enjoy my job. I go to work and I have the best day, but then I come home and I'm stressing about what I need to do next in order to make money to not be worried about bills. And I'm trying very hard to like give God the problem, and I'm really trying to get it off my chest, and it keeps sticking back to me like tape and gum. Every time I rip it off, it sticks back to me every time I come home. And it's like, okay, one person could say, well, Maddie, if you had just gotten an apartment with roommates with lower rent, then you wouldn't be having this issue, right? And therefore you know, wouldn't have to be worried every day about making extra money to do the stuff you want. It's like, okay, yeah, I could have made the sacrifice to go live with roommates again and pay $500 a month of rent. But the issue is that the roommate things in my area, one, the locations that were doing the roommate stuff were in such a location that they weren't near a bus stop. So I would have needed a car to get to work, first off. Secondly, I did have the opportunity to live where I am living now in this complex with a roommate, but my last roommate experience was not the best. And also with my chronic illness and the way I want to live life, I was feeling very trapped with a roommate. Even though my roommate that I could have had is an awesome person, I knew within myself that I was not gonna be, I can't do it by myself. I mean, I can't do it with another person that I don't know. And even if it was my best friend, I love my best friends. I would live with my best friends. But also, I just felt it deep in my chest that I was supposed to be in an apartment by myself. Like, I did the research, I found the apartment, and I felt it deep in my chest that God was like, you're gonna get this apartment. And it's very, like, not even in my chest, but in my gut. And I'm still learning how to trust my intuition, but everything was pointing to get this apartment. So that's why I'm so grateful for it. But even me saying out loud is making me feel better. But yeah, I just struggling a little bit, you know? Struggling a little bit about, you know, just, it's like simultaneously experiencing the best of times and worst of times. Like, every day I come home, I'm like, OMG, I'm in my own apartment. And then every day I come home and I'm like, OMG, I'm in my own apartment. OMG, I need to be able to maintain this apartment because I'll be damned if I lose it. So it's like being afraid I'm going to mess up the blessing that God gave me somehow. Because I don't know. I'm trying to trust myself to maintain it, and it's really hard. And I also know that there's goals that God wants me to pursue that I need my own space for. I need my own space to be creative. And I know that God wants me to start working on my artwork, and, you know, I personally want to sell it. I think God wants me to sell it and give it to people. But it's time for me to get on my Zoom and get on my grind with my artwork. I want to pursue my education. And I'm stressed about that today because I'm just realizing that the big, beautiful bill is about to come into effect on July 1st. And I may never get my master's or PhD because of that. Because there's a limit on, you know, the amount of loans you can take out. Most master's and PhD programs exceed that limit. I don't make enough money to pay it on my own. I don't have a good enough GPA to get it a scholarship. You know, it's just a lot of things that are kind of circling in my head, and it's a very negative mindset. I'm trying to get out of it, but it's sticking to me today, and it's frustrating me. Like, I just went to the store today and bought some things that usually would take me years to get. And I'm saying years kind of metaphorically. It would take me months to save up for. But I just got all of it today for a low price thanks to somebody in my life who understands and was kind enough to be like, hey, let's go do this, you know? And, you know, let me take you somewhere to where you can actually afford to get it instead of you having to figure it out on your own. I know some deals. I know some places. Let's make sure you get what you need for your place. And God blessed me with angels in my life like that. So thanks to that angel, I was able to get stuff from my apartment that I had been needed And I was able to get it today. And even some like design stuff I was able to get today. And design stuff really being stuff that I needed, like a whiteboard to put on my wall so I can actually remember the shit I need to do every day instead of writing it on my phone and writing it on my iPad and then rehearsing it in my head and then my head just filled with shit all day when I could just write it out on a board and look at it and then better remember. Because right now, planners don't work. I try to use planners, and because it's in a book and my job requires me to be up all day, and like moving around. I mean, I get time to sit down, but like because my job requires me to be active mentally, I'm never remembering, hey, go take a glance at that planner that you wrote your stuff down in. When I get home from my job, I'm not thinking, let's look at our planner and our journal. Like, I'm trying to build these habits, but my brain is like, let's sit down, let's eat, and go to sleep. But I was so stressed out today. Not even stressed out. Let me rephrase that. I was so stressed out when I got home that once I got over the gratefulness and high and happiness of being able to do what I was able to do, like get the stuff I needed for my apartment and for myself, once I got over that, I heated up my food and it's now about to be 10 o'clock and I'm still hungry, but I had no appetite to eat because I had all these feelings in me. So I just had to make this video and talk about it because I wanted to talk about it with my boyfriend, but he's busy right now because I tried to call him. And I was going to talk about it with my friends, but I also know that it just didn't, I don't know. I just didn't want to be venting to them. Sometimes I want to vent to my friends, and sometimes I'm just like, they don't need to hear all that right now. And they'll probably get mad at me and be like, yeah, you should have just came to us because we're here to hear it. But sometimes I just be like, y'all don't need to, like, y'all do. And I'll tell y'all when I'm stressed out. Like, but also, today just didn't feel like a day where I call out my friends and, like, complain. So, and this is not even me complaining. This is just me being like, I'm living in America as a young black person who just got out of college, who was dumb and smart enough and brave enough to go after an art degree with Trump as the president. Dumb and brave enough is what I'll say, because why did I just not get a degree that was going to make me money? And then 2, brave enough because I'm actually believing in the gift that God gave me. And I know it's a gift because every time, I mean, you don't need exterior, excuse me, scratching my ear, but you don't need exterior validation to prove that you have a gift, but it just comes easily to me. And also when I show people what I'm making, you know how they say, you have a business idea when you, because I took entrepreneurship classes, I know a little bit, but when you have a business idea and you market it to people to kind of be like, to kind of suss out if they're going to like your idea before you actually pursue it. And they're like, if people like your idea before you actually, when you pitch it to them, before you actually put it out there, and there's a genuine interest of a certain amount of people, then you have something. That's me. Like, I know I have something. I have shown so many people my artwork, so many different people. And mind you, I'm a black person who makes black art, but I've shown white, Asian, Indian, all type Indian as far as from India, not Indian like Native American. The point is that I've shown people from all nations and creeds from everywhere, because luckily the school I went to had, it was mainly a white school, but I was fortunate enough to get into diverse enough circles to where I could show people my artwork. And all of them said nothing but positives about my artwork. I have heard nothing but good things. Anything negative wasn't even negative. It was constructive criticism on how to improve and better get my message across. So I know that I have something. And it really is just about figuring out how to put it out there so that people can see it. Because right now, I went from being in a visual space in college to now being back in the jar. And it's just really hard trying to discipline myself with life, finances, and my purpose, and trying to pursue that purpose with life and finances, right now is giving, I am working to pay the bills and coming home and going to sleep and eating, and I'm not even always eating the amount of food that I need to eat. As a chronically ill person, the disease that I have, which is not a disease, it's not a disease, it's a situation, a state of being, if you will. Short bowel syndrome, look it up if you want to. I'll talk about it later in another video. 1 in 3 million people get it. But short bowel syndrome, I have to eat small meals throughout the day instead of breakfast, lunch, and dinner. I have to eat small breakfast at, like, say I start at 8, small breakfast at 8, snack at 10, lunch at 12, snack at 2, dinner. So stuff like that. I have to do it like that. And hold on. I have to do it like that. And so it's kind of like, I don't know. It's hard to eat 6 to 8 small meals a day. It is. Who has food to eat 6 to 8 small meals a day? And I haven't even been getting food stamps, and I keep forgetting to call the people to ask about why I just stopped receiving food stamps, because the amount of money I made did not change. So I don't know why that is. And I'm still working, so I don't know why that is. I'm meeting the work requirement, and the amount of money I'm earning is still the same amount. So I don't understand why they stopped giving me food stamps, but I've been paying out of pocket for groceries like most people. And that's been hard. And that makes it hard because I also, with my chronic illness, I have to eat decently healthy food. I literally cannot eat a lot of processed foods or I will end up in the hospital and my gut will stop working. So that makes it hard too. And me saying all this and getting off my chest makes me feel better, actually. But I think all that I mainly had to say is that today, June 26, 2026, this is my little diary entry of the reality sometimes of starting this journey on your own and, doing it for the first time. And today, I feel like it is hard to work to pay the bills and not have much for anything else. But I am also immensely grateful because God blessed me with a little extra money to where I could get the things that I needed, despite the people that I owe, despite the bills that still need to be paid. I can still pay the bills, but I still need to pay people. And if you see this and you know me and I owe you money, I have not forgotten and I love you. And I will pay you back because I have paid every person I have ever borrowed money from back. Not to say, that sounds like I borrowed a lot of money from a lot of people. Not the case. But the little bit of people that I did borrow money from in my life, I have paid them back. So I guarantee you, you will get your money back. I am not that kind of person. And if you know me to be that way. So I appreciate the patience from the people that I have not paid back yet. And I plan on doing that very, very soon. But yeah, I just was feeling really stressed because I was like, damn, I'm working to pay the bills and I really need another job and I really need just a little boost of income. And I'm stressing because I just don't want to be broke all the time after paying the rent. And it's the biggest stressor in my life right now is that financial stress. And I'm trying not to make it such a stressor that it's becoming an idol. Because money is not an idol. Like, I don't want to live to think about money. My dream is to make art, travel, and be with my man, and my family. That's my dream. I want to visit my family, go say hi to my sister, go visit my sister when I want. I don't even have a car, y'all. I did all this without a freaking car. Bruh. No license. Still trying to get that shit. Yo. But the point that I'm making is that my dream is to just make art and be able to live without thinking about how much something costs. I want to live in a house that is my sanctuary with my art studio and my man without thinking how much it costs to pay it, except for to like pay the mortgage or whatever. I want to be able to go visit my sister wherever she may live at the time I get to that point in life, my sisters, without thinking about it, visit my mother without thinking about it, go on trips with my family without thinking about it, go on trips with my man's family without thinking about it. I want to be able to drive somewhere and get a little snack or a little bit of ice cream on a hot summer day and not think about the fact that the ice cream is $3 and will I have money after that. That's all. That's all. He maketh me to lie down in green pastures, and I just want to lay down in the green pastures. And I know that's contradictory because it's like, well, God says, don't worry about money. God says, don't worry about any of this. Live your life every day with no worry and to give your burdens into Him. And then all of it will follow. So that's really what I struggled with today. I struggled with giving it to God and leaving it with Him so that I could just live my life in happiness. But me saying this out loud is making me feel better. So I think now I'm going to actually eat my food that I heated up and watch TV. Try to call my boyfriend back. If he doesn't answer, he doesn't answer, because usually around this time he's going to bed. And I should be going to bed, but I just explained why. I'm sorry if I repeated myself too much, but this is my diary entry. If somebody watches it, I pray that this helps you out, and maybe you can relate to it a little bit. And if nobody watches it, at least I got this shit off my chest. Until next time, bye.